Yeah, in due respect of our administrator and behalf of Nirmala College of Pharmacy, as a principal of this institution, it's really a pride moment for me to have such a eminent resource person on today's FTP program. And really gives me an honor and pleasure to share a few words about our speaker, Professor Vandana B. Patravel, working as a professor right now in Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai. She did a way back in PhD in 1992 from University of Mumbai, 87 M.Pharm in University of Mumbai, B.Pharm 1985, University of Mumbai. And research interests are very big list, and she's very good in the area of cosmeceuticals and national relevance projects like malaria, cancer, neurodegenerative disorders. And of course, our special research interest includes, vaccines and adjuvants, uh, tissue engineering and scaffolds, medical devices, novel carriers for solubilization and formulation development, and lot many. And Madam as a recipient of several awards, UGC BSR Mid Career Award Grant 2018 by University Grant Commission, and granted awardee of nano vaccine for brucellosis using green technology in the way back in 2013. She is editor and associate editor of so many international journals. Almost she backed many grants and funds from different funding agencies, and guided more than 50 M.Pharm projects, 18 masters in technology projects, 21 PhD, guided projects. And she's will be all very much happy to listen. And she's a constant support for many of the international conferences. She presented almost 329 conferences, and almost she has delivered more than 100 invited talks. So it's a very grateful to us, Madam. We are really happy to have you on board of today, and we want to listen you many informative things from you. I'm sure you'll be emphasizing during your presentation, and I'm sure that our faculty will be benefited out of your talk. So, with these kind words, I'm welcoming you once again, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for kind words and for inviting me to address your faculty. And thanks even to Dr. Karthik for coordinating. Just let me share my screen, and if someone could confirm whether it is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Presentation mode.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's visible, ma'am. Yes, yes.
So, meaning, as indicated by Principal Sir, today I'll be talking about research grants funding as well as writing. Both are very important. No, to get the funds, you need to write projects. So, obviously, you should know first where to write and then how to execute. So, obviously, funding objectives can vary. Now, funding could be asked only for research, doing research. It could be that once you have certain technologies in hand, you need to build further infrastructure and therefore you ask for funding. Once you have sufficient infrastructure, also, you may want to go in for narrower field. That means you want to excel in something. For example, ICT has written during these pandemic time 11 proposals for center of excellence. So they could be in infectious diseases, it could be in material sciences, and since we have many departments, different departments have come together and written many projects which will be for center of excellence. Now, why are we writing these proposals? Majorly because we have one campus at Matunga, Mumbai, where I'm teaching at present, but we do have two other campuses now, one in Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and another one is in Jalna, Aurangabad. So we have huge space now of about 150 acres each. So it is our endeavor to see that whatever expertise over the years which we have generated, we can build these center of excellences. Of course, grants could be for students also. These students should also know from where to get grants if they need to do PhD. In fact, ICT has a policy, no fellowship, no student. So none of our students who is presently enrolled is without any fellowship. So obviously we need to keep track of these two. And then once all these are satisfied, now we have our own startup policy. So under that startup policy, even our BPharm students, I'm not talking about MPharm and PhDs, but even our BPharm students can become entrepreneur. So that means they will be provided a physical space, a physical office, plus they would be provided with all the facilities which we have generated over a period of time to take their idea, which may be a novel idea, execute it and market it. So grants now from government as well as from certain private bodies are available for all of these. So level of fundings may be for students, those who have finished PhD, they can do postdoctoral studies. Faculty grants are available, and of course for institute also grants are available. So maybe one by one we'll look at all of this. For some of you it may be repetition because in APTI I had conducted maybe 3 to 4 such sessions only on funding opportunities, because that was a time when teachers were at home and they had enough time to write projects. Nevertheless, now also it's not too late in case you've not started writing. So we can actually classify these funding agencies into national bodies and international bodies. Under national, you may have funding coming in from government sources. Now, government sources could be state government, it could be central government. Non-government, it can come from certain trusts, say private trusts, to name few if I have to. You would have heard of Lady Tata Trust, or maybe even Kare Trust. Kare is Indoco Remedies owner, so in his name there is Kare Trust. Even Fair and Lovely gives certain fellowships to girl students, so you do have Fair and Lovely Trust too. So like now that there is focus, government is saying that you need to spend some money for corporate social responsibility. Many industrial houses are putting in money towards research. So it's very easy, in fact, to get now funding from private bodies too. And then, of course, there are certain NGOs, venture capitalists, etc., which can also provide funding once you have the idea and you have developed a prototype and you want to take it to market. So before that, whatever work has to be done, be it clinical trials, be it if you have made certain devices, you want to test those devices, all that work can be done with money which comes from either venture capitalists or it could be even angelists. So we need to be really knowing about all these details also. Unfortunately, our pharmacy curriculum doesn't have any such subject, but we can conduct such forums, such webinars, and know more about venture capital and angelist capital and so on and so forth. Now that I'm independent director of a company, definitely I'm getting to learn much more with respect to finances. And I'm sure in years to come, I'll be able to pass on that information too. As far as international bodies are concerned, again, it is a similar structure, but international bodies have their own grants. So they, like for example, Creighton University, if I talk about in US, Creighton has many grants which they will give to MS students. So some philanthropists, they will give the grant and that would be made available for students. So some universities in India, I know few, of course, in Mumbai, including NMIMS, they have seed money, which is given to faculty. In fact, you will be surprised that for every paper they write, every paper they contribute in journals having impact factor, they are being awarded or rewarded. I would say rewarded because it's a cash prize. So such steps universities have started taking so as to promote research. Talking about national funding agencies, there are many. And in fact, I urge all of you, if you are interested in research, you should keep these sites always open on your laptop. Something new is coming every day, be it from Department of Science and Technology or Department of Biotechnology. There are many grants which come in from Atomic Energy Regulatory Board also. Only thing is that you have a requirement that you need to use some kind of radioactive material. So that now radioactive material could be used for polymerization. It could be made for use for radioimmunoassays, or it might be as simple as you have a natural product and you want to do gamma sterilization and study its properties. So you need to have one investigator from their side. That investigator doesn't get any financial aid, but on paper you have to show that you are collaborating. So this is one area where private universities are getting lot of funding if their idea is good. And I've seen that because many times I've competed with them, and they have got the grant. DRDO, we should not forget, Defense R&D organization. So if you have any idea which can actually help our armed forces, you should apply for DRDO grants. Again, if you have any collaborator in DRDO institutes, it helps to get that grant. Now it could be as simple as some medical textiles. Can we make some insect repellent textiles for soldiers? Can we make some insect repellent creams? I'm just giving you a few examples. Or can we make some solution which immediately stops the bleeding? So any simple idea which can get to our people who are protecting us day and night, this is the funding source you need to look at. People think that we cannot apply to ICAR. This is agricultural research body. But we can. And especially, sir told that we have specialization in pharmaceutics. Now, those who know formulations can formulate anything. Believe me, I have transferred at least 5 technologies to agriculture industry. They are not going to agricultural universities, but coming to pharma setups, because we can micro-encapsulate many things. Can we not make pesticides which are micro-encapsulated, which is easily sprayable onto our crops and can still withstand the heat, rains, etc.? So such are the projects which you need to design and send to ICAR. And of course, DBT, it's not that you have to have absolute, say, gene delivery systems to write to Department of Biotechnology. My first project which got sanctioned from Department of Biotechnology was on malaria, and I had proposed nano-structured lipid carriers for dual drug combinations. Of course, when the project was submitted, they told me that you should select those ingredients which have given toxicity and then show that by putting it in nano, you can reduce the dose, reduce the frequency, and get all the benefits which I was trying to project. So I took up those, and believe me, it was a very good suggestion from DBT, because what I selected was halophentrin, which was withdrawn. It had cardiotoxicity. But by putting it in nano and reducing the dose, I could reduce the dose 1/50th time. So by reducing the dose, none of the cardiac side effects can be seen. So such are the projects which are funded by DBT. So we come under life sciences. So see that under life sciences discipline, you can submit any of the formulation projects which definitely they would like to. Now, of course, we are working in a lot of tissue engineering kind of projects because 3D printing has come in. And using 3D printing, you can actually imprint any of the cells also onto the scaffolds, which can be put in body. So, be it skin regeneration, be it cornea, or be it even for that matter, making some membranes for studying in vitro permeation like BBB. We are working on right now on BBB, just using liposomes making BBB. As far as international funding agencies are concerned, these are some of them. You do have UKRI. Now, this is UK India Education and Research Initiative. They not only sponsor projects. On these projects, your students can go and stay there for 3 months. And I was lucky to be part of a UKRI project from ICT, where myself, along with our Vice Chancellor and one additional professor, and 4 people from UK side, University of Bradford, were partnered. So each of us had one student, and that student, whatever work prototype she made here, she went and scaled up in UK using PAT tools, process analytical techniques, inbuilt. So that project was on hot melt extrusion. So obviously, inline tools which she used was X-ray diffraction as well as NIR. So she could scale up, and then that product has gone in market now because it was so easy to scale up from there. Then you do have Indo-US Science and Technology Forum. DAD is from Germany, DAAD. Cefipra from France. Welcome Group gives n number of research grants for students, for faculty also. And then you do have BRICS and Global Innovation and Technology Alliance. So I'll start with the research students because they need fellowship for pursuing research. So in case now you have masters and some of you are professors, that means you can take PhD students if recognition comes in from university. So if you can, so you need to tell students from where to get those grants. So it could be fellowship either for grants, or it could be for exchange program like DAD I talked about. Half the work could be done in India, half the work could be done in Germany. Same way, you have grants with other countries also. You'll see one by one, all of these grants are available for many of the awards, achievements, and also to travel. So in person, if you need to present your work as students, many grants are available. Look at this. These are the authorities which give fellowships for pursuing research. So UGC, of course, you know that there'll be joint CSIR, UGC entrance test, NET exam which is held. So you need to clear that in order to get PhD fellowship. You do have senior research fellowship coming in from Council of Scientific and Industrial Research as well as ICMR, for which project can be written by student in consultation with the research guide. Student has to submit though. It could be 3-year project, so 3-year funding is assured if they get CSIR or ICMR funding. For DBT, JRF, again there's a biotech entrance test. This is BET, stands for biotech entrance test. In fact, generally in May, registration closes for such exams. You do have US India Education Foundation. Grants are available for not only masters, for PhD also, and even for teachers they are available. These are Fulbright fellows, such very, very prestigious fellowship. In fact, if you get that, person will get not only expenses for visa, will get the stipend, they'll get accident coverage, round trip air travel, everything is covered. So what students need to do is only identify potential host which can actually host them in US or UK for welcome grant, get a letter from them, and then they will be supported. Typically, deadline for these is in July. There's a scheme. If you are the only child of your parents, and that too girl child, government promotes their education. So single girl child, there is a scholarship known as Indira Gandhi Scholarship, wherein there's an age limit, of course, should not be more than 30 years. Distance education is not permitted. Such 3,000 scholarships are given every year. And what do you get? Each girl child will get 36,200 rupees per month fellowship. Now, over and above that, institute can waive their fees. Institute can give this as incentive, meaning you may be having another grant, but along with that another grant, you can also avail this grant. And I must talk about this grant. Luckily, I had the privilege of hosting 3 Prime Minister's Fellow in my lab. Currently, there is one which is in waiting. For this, what you need to do is just identify industrial partner. And whatever idea you have, that industrial partner should be able to take it to translation. That means take it to commercialization. Now, what they have to do? Industrial partner puts in money to CII. CII stands for Confederation of Indian Industries. And DST puts half the money. As a result, each of the Prime Minister's fellows gets 93,000 rupees per month. I repeat, 93,000 rupees per month. Such 4 students are currently in our lab. And all you have to do is identify a partner. And of course, you should have a good idea which partner can take. Or it could come from the industrial partner, that this is what we would like to work on, and you should have the infrastructure to work on it. Many times, students themselves identify from where they can get industrial partner. I've seen, of course, in ICT, that doesn't happen. We do have good connects, but elsewhere, I have talked, because yearly you go for meetings, you talk to people, network with them, you get to know that many students themselves take all the efforts to get these grants. So how many teachers in India get that salary? Even at assistant professor level, there are many who will not get. Why not promote such things? And of course, not to forget DST Inspire Fellowship. This is given to meritorious students. We have seen that brain drain always used to happen. At ICT, you'll be surprised, 90% of our students are going abroad. Only 10% stay back, of which many take either higher studies or management degrees. So what government thought, that they can provide Inspire Fellowship, which can be an integrated fellowship. So BPharm topper directly can do integrated PhD. And this is a topper, of course, gold medalist in the university. The same thing gets extended even to master students to do PhD. So if you are master's university topper in that particular branch, it goes branch wise. So if you're topper in university, MPharm Pharmaceutics, you can get Inspire Fellowship. And again, Inspire Fellowship is much more than the common fellowship. I think now it is about 55,000 plus per month. Besides that, there are many short-term exchange programs for which students would be eligible. You do have, for example, GREAT scholarship, which is for Indian students. I told you about DAD. GREAT, you know how much it gives? 1,20,000 pounds, and such 30 fellowships are there. Under DAD, there are about 1 lakh, I repeat, 1 lakh students are supported every year. It's a German academic exchange program. And what do these students get? about 1200 euros per month. They get their travel also. Universities many times house them free. So students have all the advantages. Newton Baba. This is typically, of course, if you are Inspire Fellows, it will be preferred. Typically, in second or third year of their PhD, they'll get Newton Baba Fellowship, which is Indo UK. So all you have to do is identify again a collaborator, get expression of interest from there. One can nominate their own students. About 20 PhD students are supported throughout India every year. And of course, if they are, Inspire Fellows, they'll be supported by DST. But if they are CSIR, say UGC NET or DBT Fellows, uh, all of them will be supported by DBT. Commonwealth split side. This is specifically for low to middle income countries. At our side, it's the MHRD who is in picture, Ministry of Human Resource and Development. On UK side, it's of course Department for International Development. So this is similar, meaning similar to Great Fellowship and to DAD Fellowship. You get everything, whatever you desire to work. So this is just a snapshot of CEFIPRA, and CEFIPRA, as I mentioned earlier, is for Indian and French students. So it's an exchange program. They can come here, our students can go to France. Eligibility is that, of course, you should be registered for PhD. Applications are open throughout year. But if you want to go, obviously, expression of interest should come at least 6 months prior so that you can apply. So for 3 to 6 months, you can go visit other country, get to know their culture as well as the science which they are doing, and come back. So such exposures definitely help our students. Very easy to, all of these are online. So all you can do is, key in the words, say, of course, if you put Commonwealth Scholarship, this will appear. Now put your country and search for the application process. You'll get all the details as to what needs to be uploaded, what are the papers which would be required, whether project has to be submitted or not in advance. So everything you will get by one click. And these are, I've already mentioned some of the fellowships. For travel, you do get support from DST as well as Science and Engineering Research Board, DBT, CSIR, ICMR. People generally do not know about ISRO CICS. CICS is Center for International Cooperation in Science. And of course, from certain private trusts too. So at a time, you can write applications to all of them, but you'll get only from one of them. So in case you've got it from DST, for next 3 years, do not write to DST. You can write to other agencies. So our students, are really going at least twice during their PhD tenure abroad to present their work. This is DBT portal. If you open, you will see that this will appear where you have conferences, travel, exhibition, everything, etc. So of course, if you click on travel, you'll know whom do they give travel award, for what do they give travel award. You should be going to, of course, a conference of repute. So as I mentioned, once in 3 years they give, but you have to apply at least 2 months prior. Most of the students get it, meaning what I've seen is if you have given good recommendation to them, of course, depends on their own CV, and if they have a very good idea to present at international forum, no one denies. In fact, our government is very supportive. Once PhD is done, comes the turn is of postdoctoral fellowships. So you can get these fellowships in many, many different ways, in the same ways like we were talking about for students. And as No, Einstein says intellectual growth never stops. Commences at birth, ceases only at death. In fact, nowadays I say it doesn't cease even at death. Growth continues, right? Your genes carried forward. Postdoctoral fellowship, like CSIR, which is a CSIR Nehru Science Fellowship, 12 to 18 months. Generally, calls open actually in August, somewhere in August. Age limit is there for some of them because they are postdoctoral, they want to promote youngsters. So, age limit, most of the cases, is not more than 40 years. As far as DBT, TWAS is concerned, 12 to 18 months they give you support. 1 year to 1.5 years. List of institute is available on DBT website. You can check that. And these calls also open in August. UGC, I do have DS Kothari postdoctoral fellow currently working in the lab. And this DS Kothari fellow gets, there are some female candidates who would like to take care of their family and do research simultaneously before they take full-time job. So such people do apply for such fellowship, and I'm an excellent person, again coming from Kerala, Dr. Sri Ranjani. She did her PhD, of course, in IISc, Indian Institute of Science, and then she's come to do postdoctoral research at ICT and is working on glioblastoma. So what is she getting? Typically, they get about roughly 55 to 60,000 rupees per month. Plus, they get contingency grant of about 1 lakh a year. This continues for about 3 years. So 3 years, their tenure is fixed. If they want to extend, they can jump from Kothari to National PDF or from National PDF to Kothari. So now that her tenure will complete, she doesn't want to take full time still because the kid is small. But believe me, she's working more than full time. Doesn't mean that you work only 2 to 3 hours a day. She's working more than full time, but not taking other administrative responsibilities, not taking other lectures, practicals, focusing only on research. You do have BIRAC Innovation Fellowship as well as RUSA Postdoctoral Fellowship, which is in the same category. You get about 65,000 plus. Early career research fellowships like Swarna Jayanti, 30 to 40 years. What do you get? Over and above your salary, you get 25,000 per month. Over and above your salary. Plus, you get 5 lakh per annum to do research. Obviously, your CV has to be strong. Swarna Jayanti fellows are those who are actually having many good, I would say, publications, or those who are giving much to the social setup needs. This can not be taken for more than 5 years, but 5 years is a big time. JC Bose National Fellows, they can take this fellowship up to 68 years of age. I know of a friend from TIFR, Dr. Vidita Vedya, who has just got it in 2021. What is her age? 52. 16 years she can go on taking this. So over and above salary, 25,000 per month, 15 lakh per annum for research for all those years. Even institute gets overheads about 1 lakh per annum. So this is for someone who is outstanding. Ramanna fellowships and base fellowships are also given, but generally Ramanna is the one which gives even for some equipment support comes into here. DBT Khorana Nirenberg program is the best one so far. Why I say best? Because here even the young faculty can go to NIH, National Institute of Health, US, for 2 to 3 years. But one condition is there. If they go there, they have to come back and take a faculty post in Indian Institute. So that has to be given in written. So they get all the benefits, as I've told earlier: visa, your travel, money for stay, plus a fellowship. Everything is taken care in this DBT fellowship. Tata Innovation Fellowship, 5 fellowships are given of about 25,000 per month. Grant is 6 lakh per annum. This is open to global scientists. In fact, from anywhere they can apply. Indians from anywhere. Ramalinga Swami and all are the grants which are given to those who want to come back to India. So one of my students went after PhD to do postdoc in Germany. When he came back, he got Ramalinga Swami Fellowship. So same way, Ramalinga Swami Fellows would also get bulk grant, meaning as soon as they join the institute, such 75 fellowships are given every year. They would be given about a lakh of rupees per month block amount. Of course, there is money for research too. So you can see that there are n number of grants available, and DBT with Welcome Group has come up with early career, intermediate, senior level grants. And depending on your seniority, you can go on adding many things in it. For example, why seniors are getting more? Because they know that they can utilize more. Many times these people, the grant goes back. They're not able to utilize. So you do get money for consumables, you get major equipments, you can appoint fellows, you can appoint your lab attendants, you get money for travel, meetings, contingency grants. So, I mean, all you need to do is, look at what is available. There is n number of things which are available. I told you earlier, BRC, look for this DAE Research Award. This is a award money. Doesn't go in the institute's account. It can directly come in your account. Department of Biotechnology, RGYI, you have rapid grant for young investigators. Again, when we say young investigators, no, there will be limit to age. So 40 years of age. Generally for females, 5 years, they add little extra. These are grants which are specific to women scientists. So you do have WOSA, 30 lakhs, B, same amount. Someone who wants to pursue these degrees, about 25 lakh. DBT giving support, UGC giving support. I told you, meaning government has all the support. And we again fall here under life sciences code. Many times, if you read this, you feel there's no pharmacy. So don't do the mistake. We fall under code 4 of life sciences. These are similar to what I've already talked about students. So like students can get Inspire Fellow, faculty can become Inspire Faculty. It's very important for you to know, because this is the chance, in fact, to get into government institutes or institutes of excellence. And in fact, at ICT, such Inspire Faculty is given all the benefits of a usual faculty. Everything. If I have a student, they will also have a student. Same number. No differentiation done. So Inspire Faculty team, application happens through different route. There's a direct route. That means you yourself can apply, but you need to get selected. It's a longer route. Another route, which is a shorter, is you get nominated. Get nominated by your VCs or president and fellows of academicians or holding very important positions. So you directly can come in this. A third absolute direct route is only for, of course, central institutes like IITs and ISCs, CSIR labs. So they can nominate their own people. Final selection is interview based. So one thing which I have recently learned is that if you get selected as Inspire Fellow, you are told to serve in not in the same institute. In fact, many times they say not in the same state also. If I'm from Maharashtra, I'll be asked to go to Kerala or Gujarat or elsewhere. So Ramanujan Fellowship, like I told you about Ramalinga Swami, is another fellowship which is for brilliant scientists and engineers. Again, this is a fellowship to bring back our own people. And that's how, ICERs have got established. Many of those are actually having these Ramanujan Fellowship or Ramalinga Swami Fellowship so that they get support. When they come back, they are so used to getting grants there that here they cannot start without seed money. So our government is providing them with such grants. Obviously, education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world, said Nelson Mandela. So we as teachers also have n number of grants coming to us. This PowerPoint presentation, maybe I'll make it available to principal and can be passed on, or this recording, if I'm not sure whether you're doing recording, but if it is being done, you can go through each of these grants. Why? Because the links have been provided. So we are generally aware of whatever grants I had written in the last page, but not aware of grants like which come from Indian Council for Child Welfare. If you want to do something for pediatric use, you can write to ICCW. If you want to do research in social sciences, now this will become very important because with national education policy coming in place, we have to dissolve the boundaries between STEM and social sciences. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and maths. So if that happens, many grants will be available from ICSSR or even from INSA. So you have many, many proposals throughout the year. In fact, they can be sent. Regular watch can be kept on each of these, which I'm listing. There's so many, many of you may feel that there's so many. How do we keep a watch? I would give you that secret also. You can write many international grants. I tell people, many private university people tell that all the grants here in India are meant for government institutes. That's not true actually, because I've been on the other side also. So if your idea is good, if you're able to defend it good, if you're able to show that you will be able to execute it well, and take care of all whatever money is given to you in a proper way, maintain the accounts and provide them with UCs in proper fashion, they definitely give you money. But in case you have any iota of doubt, who stops you from applying outside India? So there are these grants which I have listed and many more. In fact, again, our lab is a recipient of Bill Melinda Gates Foundation grant, which gave us excellent infrastructure. Through that we could develop that grant we had written again for nano vaccine to be given by nasal route under One Health concept. So we made a vaccine which can be given to animals as well as to human beings, because that disease affects both animals and human beings. That is brucellosis. Now we are in the process of writing NIH grant. So DBT, DST, all bodies are saying that we have given you enough grants. So I thought let us try now elsewhere. So I have listed few of the grants available from different countries, be it Germany or from UK. Humboldt is again Germany, American Cancer Society, so on and so forth. You will see that this runs in pages. All you have to do is whichever area you are working. Say if you're working in psoriasis, put psoriasis and international grants. You'll get list of grants available. look at their form, what is necessary to be filled, and take it ahead. Okay, so likewise, you do have Indo foreign grants. Some of them I had mentioned right in the beginning, like IUSSTFE or UKERI. We also have many boycott fellows. In fact, this is from SERB. Young scientists can go taking this boycott fellowship to US, get exposure for about a year, come back. Same way, you do have grants coming in from Indo-Australian fund, Indo-Russian fund. If you open the SERB site, SERB site, you will see this will be continuously rolling. So call for proposal, sometimes for Russia, for Norway. So my request to my pharma colleagues who are listening to me now is identify which country you want to go to, identify which research interest you have, identify who are the people who are working in that area in that country, get letter from them, expression of interest, and apply to these grants. During this time, ICT gives us duty leave, full salary. So all whatever you are getting is over and above. So this is CEFIPRA grant again for this will be for faculty. And there was a special call, it's a little older slide, 2014 for industry research program, but this keeps on coming. So yes, this is a question which I was going to answer, how to keep a track. There are so many grants which I've spoken about. So all you have to do is open this website, indiabioscience.org. If you open indiabioscience.org, daily updates you will go on getting. This site is looking like this, You go to grants, this will be rolling, continuously rolling. Open it, read it. No one stops you from applying. It's a complete database is there of incoming funding calls. So work is so simple. So rather than, sometimes I say wasting money elsewhere, wasting time elsewhere. Time is money, right? So see that you read about these things, get acquainted. I'm sure some of you definitely can avail. And one advantage which you have, which other states don't have, is of spoken English. These are some of the programs which are for faculty, just like students. So I'm not repeating. These are exchange programs. So Fulbright, UGC has TechIP grants. Again, we have a TechIP grant. In fact, you know how much is a grant? 100 crore. And we are in the third phase. 100 crore, third phase. Third time we have got 100 crores. So through that, you can definitely change the total infrastructure. But then when you have TechIP grant, you have not to support only the faculty, it will be even the support staff, no? The non-teaching faculty, students, arrange programs for students, for non-teaching and staff, do research in different areas, which are forthcoming areas, and so on and so forth. But huge grant, right? 100 crores is a huge amount. These are award grants. When I say award, money directly is given in your account, doesn't go in institute's account. So you can apply for INSA Teacher Award. It could be British Petroleum, Birdlife Conservation, International Fauna and Flora, Wildlife Conservation. I know of many pharma people who have interest in this. So if you've done something in that direction, I know of many people in Nagpur who are really doing lots to save forests. They can apply for such awards. And then, of course, for your academic excellence and teaching excellence, there are awards too, be it from foreign bodies like James McDonnell or from our own DBT, which is IYBA, that is Innovative Young Biotechnologist Award. Organization can also get funding. For seminar and conference grants, all of these bodies are giving these grants. For some, they have not given the upper limit, so therefore you can see the dash. Not that they don't give, they give, but upper limit is not written. You can get infrastructure grant from DST, MHRD. I'm sure some of you would have written MODROP projects and got money from AICT. So from AICT, you can also get money for R&D. Center of Excellence, you can get from DBT. Also, you can get it from Ministry of Human Resource Development. Once you have, I told you all this, you'll go to larger grants. That means you'll ask for money to set up incubation centers. And these are the grants which are coming for incubation center. You can see government is putting a lot of money to start incubation. Why? Because they want more and more people not to be job seeker, but to be job giver. So this is to develop the entrepreneur skills. In fact, at ICT, we as teachers can become entrepreneurs. We will be given duty leave even for that for 1 year, 2 years. What more can we ask from government and from our institute? These are some of the incubation centers. In fact, very happy that in Mumbai alone we have 3 such incubation centers. So even if I do not want to be housed, I want to say take advantages of all the facilities of IIT. I can be incubated there. And by being incubated, all I have to do is pay them some money and use all their facilities free of charge. So these are some of the links for consolidated database. And I would like to ask Principal Sir whether I should continue with writing or shall we take another lecture in writing later?
Madam, if time permits for you, we can go ahead, ma'am.
I have half an hour. We can fast forward. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
You let me know.
Yeah.
Shall I? Okay. So I've given you overview of from where grants are available, but you need to write as I told you. So while writing, you should be first selecting which area you want to work in. If you already work in area and you have POC, it becomes easier. Most of the granting authorities are looking at whether you have some initial studies in support of your grant. Depending on whether it is at POC stage or advanced stage, you can ask for budget. And of course, depending on this, the tenure will be decided, the timelines will be decided. So if you are just generating preliminary data, it doesn't need time. If you're already developed a prototype and you just have to do clinical trials, all time is needed is to get the approval and then to do the study. So accordingly, the tenure would differ. And then, of course, whether there is need for collaboration, I strongly propose that you should collaborate when you are actually submitting projects. So we need to identify the needs and generate focus. How do we do that? First thing is we have to have a very strong hypothesis. Many times when we write projects, it is all haywire. There's no strong rationale for doing that particular work. So more work needs to be done towards framing a research hypothesis. Then you look at what facilities you have, what resources you have, what you would like to build. So what you do not have, you'll ask in the research grant. Look at need for manpower. For example, during COVID, we wrote 2 projects to DBT, one on diagnosis and one on vaccine. Both have come. For diagnosis, we asked only timeline was 8 months. So I asked for 1 manpower. But for vaccine, 3 institutes came together and wrote. So we asked for 3 senior research fellows. So it depends on What is your project focusing on? Do not give anything which is over and above what you need. Because when we are sitting on the other side, will look at all your budgetary needs. So we are supposed to put comment whether it is over budgeted or even whether it is under budgeted too. So project outcomes, of course, should be very, very clearly written. Don't write more than 2 to 3 outcomes. Many times I've seen people writing 10 outcomes of it, they don't achieve even 2. So rather make broader outcomes. Under that, smaller ones you need not write. We've already seen that you need to look at granting authority. Now, granting authority could be national or it could be international. So you go through, please, indiabioscience.org, look at the grants which are available. Once you've identified where you should be applying, either through that route or many times on DST and DBT side, you will see suddenly they will ask for specific area grant proposal. These grants generally get granted very soon. So if you write in the normal fashion, accepted all through the year, it will take a year, year and a half. But if it is a call by them, it gets funded within 3 to 6 months' time. So you should use keywords from the call itself when you are writing this grant proposal. It's like applying for a job. First, identify what they want and then design how can you give them what they want. The example I give here, there was a call from DBT on sea buckthorn. When I read, I did not know what is sea buckthorn. So curious that I am, I Googled and found that it is a berry which is present in Leh Ladakh region. So that berry, when I looked at chemical constituents, I knew that all our pharma people, if they are writing, they'll write for anti-inflammatory activity, antioxidant potential. That's all what they do. So I thought, as a formulator, let me see whether I can write for cosmeceutical. No one would have thought that they can make a cosmetic preparation out of that berry. So I wrote a proposal and I got that grant. In fact, I wrote it with one of my colleague from foods department. So she optimized the extraction process and I optimized the formulation and tested it. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you may get some keywords from there. Work around that and you can also write a grant. Now this research stage could be either the ideation stage, could be proof of concept, could be translation. So depending on which stage it is, I told you should ask for money. For example, again, in our lab, we have 3 Gyati awardees. Now, Gyati stands for Gandhian Young Technologist Innovation Award. So these 3 young fellows who are pursuing PhD, work was so good, but it was at idea stage, right? They were working towards POC. So they applied, got 15 lakh rupees directly in their account, their bank account, not in university account. So that 15 lakh rupees they can utilize to fructify that idea further. Once they do that, they'll get grant from BRAC to take it to translation. So one of my students worked on nanodiagnostic, one worked on anti-HIV from Phyto Pharmaceuticals, and another one, Alzheimer, again from Phyto. So read which funding agency you want to apply to, read the grants which are funded by that agency. All the guidelines you should be really very, very well acquainted. Why? Because many times, they will say these are the documents which are required to be uploaded. But when you, on the last date, typical habit of people is they'll submit just one day before the last date, or maybe on the same day as last date. Then you will see that there are other documents which are required, which need certain signatures from your HODs, maybe from head of the institute and so on. So you will get stuck. So rather, I tell people that they should go through the guidelines, start filling it dummy information online so that they can see what exactly is required, and then, very quickly work towards it. So yes, when you're writing your proposal, you should not be beating around the bush. Be very, very specific. You can't say that I'm going to make liposomes also, nanocrystals also, dendrimers also, and then see what works. Focus on one area. The evaluators who are there would look at your capability. So be very, very specific as to what you want to achieve. I already told you, it's though collaborators are optional, I always will write a collaborator. Why? What if today I move from this place to another place? What happens to the project? Does it close? No government authority would want that. So the other collaborator, co-PI, should be able to take that forward. Know your audience. By this, I mean is know your evaluators. What are evaluators looking at? They are looking at idea, whether it is novel or whether it has been worked upon. Now, many people know very smartly, they write introduction and hypothesis, and cleverly they hide only that reference where whatever work they are proposing is done. Now, in this digital world, do you think it is difficult for the evaluators to find out? Don't do that. Be honest. Rather, what you should do is what has been done in past, in what way what I'm proposing is going to be different. Bring that out. That will really attract the evaluators towards your proposal. Be up to date. I've seen people giving references 20, 30 years old. Last 5 years references have to be given in any paper or in any proposal. Whatever guidelines I'm giving are same for papers, writing a research manuscript, as well as for project. So you should be really very up to date. Otherwise, paper would come back. And of course, follow the guidelines. Generally, your manuscript is also in these. And of course, only additional thing which comes in project is personnel and budget. So you'll have a title, summary, problem statement, literature review, project summary, and then you have to give manpower details, budget details, expected outcome. Some names may differ. It may have some other synonyms, but more or less structure remains the same. Title is first thing which makes me read your proposal. So it should be simple and original, yet it should be catchy. For example, if you write, say, studies on inflammatory formulations, I'm not going to look at it. I told you have to be specific. But if you are giving that you will be making, say, I'm just giving a simple example, don't go word by word. Say, diclofenac liposome based topical formulation. It is a specific formulation. I would at least get to know what you have plans. Why do you feel that liposomes will permeate better? Why have you selected diclofenac only? Are you doing comparison with the marketed or not? At least that curiosity will be there to go further. So it should be simple, original, specific. It's not an English skill. But at least by writing, let that evaluator know it means a lot to you. Studies of anti-inflammatory or antioxidant potential of phyto or plants coming from Western Ghat. I mean, I've seen such titles, and therefore I'm telling you, these titles. So be very, very specific. Follow the character limit which is given in the guideline. And as I mentioned earlier, great title will capture the evaluator's attention with its uniqueness. Then it comes to the summary. Some places it will be known as abstract, some places as origin of proposal. So create impression. If you have preliminary work, give that. Let this be very succinct. Just as title, be very, very specific. Write what has been done in past. what other people have done, but where I have found the loopholes, focus only on those loopholes and say that you will take the work ahead from there. Use the relevant keywords which come from the proposal itself. So these are the points. When you're writing the statement, you should be able to bring out. In the background, again, as I told you, recent references should be there. Research goals and objectives should be just 2 to 3. Show them where there is an unmet need. Why do you want to do this research? What is the novelty? Bring it out. Couple it with rationale. And of course, you are sure to get the grant, if you have actually done this well. In literature review both national and international data. Many times I've seen people, they do this, but they don't look at patents. So nowadays I've started including even the patent data. Follow consistent reference style. Don't take the reference from wherever you have taken a reference, that style. Nowadays softwares are available like Mendeley's and all. Use those. Make it consistent. Looks nice. The project has to stand out. In fact, I would urge, because there is lack of time, I would request each one of you to look at SERB's high risk, high reward scheme. Why I'm telling you to look at this? Because they have exactly given under each head what is expected. And that same thing is expected from all other government proposals. Right? So like when you're writing importance of project proposal, highlight what is new area or gap which will be solved in the project. I told you, right? So they have written it. If you understand this particular, SERB well, I'm sure you will really avail grants very soon. Cover the following points for each specific aim or study. How are you going to design your research? Are you using DOE? What methodology you will be using? Exact details are needed. Many times people do not give, this is a place which is a narrative. This is not bullet point. Abstract may have number of character limits. This doesn't have limit. So they want to look at whether you have looked at most suited methodology or not. Whether if your formulation is failing, other alternative options, backup option you have kept or not. So all this has to come in the project narrative. Same thing is given from high risk, high reward. Again, you need to summarize roles and responsibilities of all investigators. See that they are complementary to each other. Of course, I've already told you when it comes to manpower, see that manpower takes away most of your budget. So try and balance that well and see that. Ask only how much ever is needed. And when you're having interviews, suppose the project has got sanctioned, to that person, please make it clear what would be their role. Because they need to deal, at times they need to deal with 2 to 3 PIs, co-PIs. So they should not feel that they have 4 bosses. Make it clear that they will have 4 bosses. Then they are working with open mind. And of course, whether they are asking for JRF or SRF, the rates for these go on revising. So generally at DST side, you do get what are the rates. They go on revising. They are increasing day by day because of inflation. Always there has to be a justification about timeline as well as budget. So when you are talking about the timeline, see that they reflect coordination of activities. Always keep buffer time. Some instrument may go wrong. Maybe UV lamp goes off and inventory you don't have. So some backup time, buffer time should be there. So typically I keep about 3 months of buffer time in any grant. Budget, you need to nowadays give quotes in advance. Remember, so you should have this ready quotes. Same way, When we are talking about animal experiments, they ask for animal ethical committee meeting report minutes in advance. So if you have, you can supply. If you don't have, you can say that when it would be, the meeting would be taken, it would be supplied to them. All the equipments, etc., you need to give them. And of course, finally, you need to give expected outcome or concluding remarks. You should ideally give objective wise outcomes. This is a good practice. You can also make a PERT chart, PERT, So that chart where you can show overlapping activities. You know what are the activities you'll do, what methodology you'll follow, each activity takes how much time. So make a sort of a timetable and give. But with each objective, give what would be the relevant endpoint. For example, if I'm doing, say, I made a nano diagnostic kit and my first objective was to make antigen loaded nano carrier. So my endpoint would be that it should have at least 85% encapsulation efficiency. It should have size which should be less than 100 nanometers. So that is relevant endpoint. So unless you get that, you're not moving to the next one, right? So it should reflect completeness. Always give alternate approaches. This planning has to be in place. This shows that yes, really you are very keen to do project. It's not that if my methodology which I'm going to use, so suppose I'm using double immersion technique to make nanoparticles, doesn't work, I leave project halfway. No. Can I use nanoprecipitation? Can I use homogenization? Alternate planning should be done. And these are some of the tips which I would like to give you, that read the call for proposals carefully. Plan your proposal writing and compilation well ahead of deadline. Check the funding agency website for timely updates. So many times they postpone the deadline. Most of the times they postpone. One time you would be surprised, there was early closure because they had got n number of projects, they closed it. So you should know. Use all the digital platforms, so that literature which you have is really up to date. Outline the milestones and outcomes very, very carefully. Because unless you achieve one milestone, they'll not give you the second milestone payment. Same like industry. Many times, grammar and spell check people don't do. That puts us off. We cannot read continuous 3 to 4 sentences which has no English issues. So see that you use Grammarly. Again, softwares are available if you cannot write it yourself. Get it corrected from someone on whom you can confide in, or maybe from your co-PI. So these are few tips. And I've told you funding, there are many levels. These are some of the granting agencies to whom we had applied, like for example, SERP Core Grant. Now this grant I'm executing along with another pharmacist from Bharatiya Vidyapeeth. There's an industry involved, which is IVRI, and there's another institute, which is Bombay Veterinary Institute. So I'm not going through it very clearly. It is very important that whatever points I mentioned, you take care. See that there's no plagiarism of any sort. Don't propose someone else's work as your own. This is the second one, which we submitted on foot and mouth disease. Outcome, of course, was it was approved, but keep in mind that once approval letter comes, it is not that money has come. You might be asked to furnish certain other information. For example, in this I have written, no, this information was asked by SERP. So you have to provide within 20 days. If you don't provide, you've lost the opportunity. So we need to move fast. This is another one, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which was under One Health. I've already told you we wrote for a vaccine for brucellosis, and which was coming in their own, you can see here, the bottom, in their own, there was a keyword brucellosis. So if you do not know what are they, read about it. And if you find that, yes, you can write something, write on it. We were lucky to get the grant also. And you will be very happy to know that the studies have been done, the challenge studies have been done in US. Results are good. Now, if I have another grant coming from BMG, can you even imagine what the amount would be? It will be $100 million. So, such are the grants which you can get from funding agencies abroad. You can see here, your name also comes on their grant. You can put Vandana Patravale and check, that we got this grant for brucellosis because we had suggested that we'll make a nano vaccine. I think 2 cases are sufficient, otherwise, we'll lose a discussion part. So I will stop here if you do not mind.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. With a short period of time, and you're given very nicely the various types of funding agencies, and you're given the outline about how to an overview about how to write a proposal. Thank you so much, ma'am. And now the session is open for Q&A. Those who have queries, they can ask. If they have any questions or any clarifications required, please.
Yeah. Madam, your deliberation was really wonderful, and you given a complete, bird's eye view of entire world of grants and funding agencies. What are the various scopes are there for teachers, institutions, the students level, PhD scholars, and it's excellent. But as a part of management, as a part of institution head, can you suggest or can you give a brief note of aspect of a growing institution like our institution is just coming up. We have a B.Pharm program, undergraduate program, and only one PG program. So where we may fit, and it's a self-finance institution. This maybe the question might be asked by any of the affiliated self-finance institutions to you. So what is your suggestion?
So I always suggest, as I mentioned, some disturbance. Yeah. So as I suggested, the grants which are with BARC, BRNS, they are very good. So I think 15 to 17 lakhs is a good amount money to start with. And they are really looking at people who can come, join them, do research. So identify near your area which is the BARC institute. Like for example, we here in Mumbai have Radiation Medicine Center. We also have BRC, but Radiation Medicine Center is in Parel, which is very close to ICT. So I always identify my collaborator from there, discuss with them. So their focus, ACTREC also focuses more on cancer. And since cancer is one of my thrust area also, so generally I go to them, discuss with them what are the challenges which clinicians are facing. Is there a scope to develop an alternative formulation which can go faster to the market? Talk to them and then write a project. So I think one thing which I will suggest will be this. Other is young faculty themselves, can write ICMR grants, and they should. Many times I've seen that they get granted. Now there is one grant which I didn't mention is in Ayush, right? So Ayush, if you have, and I know that your place has lot of traditional wealth. So if we can identify some principles which are from Ayurveda or from Unani or from homeopathy, I'm sure at your side it is Ayurveda more, right? So you can identify and make modern formulations of that. They will give you grants. So you can write maybe 3 4 people can come together, I would say. Maybe pharmaceutics people, pharmacognosy, those who are taking pharmacology, who will be evaluating, they can come together and write a very good proposal. So identify what thrust area you would like to keep. Now for example, maybe it is cognitive sciences are becoming more and more popular. Suppose you think of Alzheimer, right? That is one problem which the population age is going on increasing because we are providing them good therapy, right? Drugs more and more drugs are coming, so lifespan is going on increasing. So if that is happening, these diseases, which are neurological diseases, would be on rise. So can you identify which are the herbs which are being used in your area? Say that you then optimize the extract. It could be a total extract. It need not be one phytoactive. It could be total extract. Standardize that and then formulate it as a modern dosage form and evaluate. I'm sure anyone will give you a grant for that. So such things you need to think now.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And this last aspect, what you given to us, maybe the really a take-home message for us. And by very shortly, we'll be calling you back in the next forum, and we will be showing our greatness as well as our achievement. Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And feel free, you can share my mail ID with all your staff members, and even number if I don't mind. So in case they have anything, I can always do the hand holding wherever required. I'll also get to learn from them, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. Bye bye. Can I take your leave, sir?
Karthikeyan, is there any other official formalities is there? Karthikeyan, please. Vote of thanks.
Oh, that's okay.
Yes.
Please. It's our honor, ma'am. Please.
On behalf of Karthikeyan, I request Vidya Miss to propose vote of thanks. Vidya Miss?
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am privileged to propose vote of thanks for those who were a part of today's webinar. On behalf of Nirmala College of Pharmacy and R&D Cell, I would like to express my gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Vandana Petravalle, for your excellent presentation and making this FDP interesting and meaningful by information about how to obtain grants and fellowships in this short period of time. Thank you, madam. And I extend my gratitude to our administrator, Father Jose Matai Mailadier, for extending all the support and encouragement for conducting today's webinar. Thank you, Father. A special thanks to Dr. Padmanabhan R., Principal, NCP, for providing immense support to make this program happen. Thank you, sir. And I sincerely thank the organizing team, Dr. Prija Madam and Dr. Karthikeyan sir, and all other coordinators. And I also congratulate and thank all the faculties for your active participation. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Vidya.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Sometimes
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Bye.
Prija?